Hi guys, in this video let me show you how to use the Excelizer instead of implementing such complicated class to get data from Excel sheet into our test methods. We used to implement Excel data reader for our test class with long lines of code as we can see here, but we don't have to worry about all this code. So let's flip to IntelliJ. I have created a simple Maven project with only two dependencies. Dependency, the first one is for Excelizer, and the second one is testng as a test runner. So here is our test class, and let me start from scratch to explain in details. So here I will create a method as a data provider for our test class. Let's say public object two-dimension array, and let's call load read data. Let's call it read data, and I will give here the annotation data provider coming from testng annotations, and I will name it, let's say, data reader. Okay, and now here inside the Excelizer there is a class called Excel Reader. This class has here, this one has a single test method responsible for loading data from Excel sheet into our test methods. It takes two parameters, as we can see. The first one for representing the path to our Excel file, and the second one for the Excel sheet. Here I have created a data folder under the project's root folder and demo test.xlsx for our data. So I will use data, and here I will use demo test.xlsx, and sheet name, let's say sheet name, make sure, and here I'd like to open the file in Windows Explorer to make sure of the sheet name. So here is our Excel sheet. The sheet is called test1. So let's get back to IntelliJ test1, and I will return all this. So let me create a test method here. Let's say public test2, and here I will provide annotation for test coming from testng annotations, but this time I should give the data provider as the same name like here, data reader, copy and paste here. So public void, sorry for this mistake. And of course, as we have in our Excel sheet two columns, I have to provide two parameters to this test method. So let's call it string username, and the other one will be string password. Now I will print out a simple test. user name will be plus user name, and again for the password the same line of code. Now here password plus password. I will concatenate all the string with the variable names. Let's say, let's create a line separator here, and if I run, let me close this one so the file is not in use, and I will run our test method to see what will happen. And now it's building our project. And let's see the test results, and yes, okay. And now it created a data row for each iteration of the test methods, as we have two rows in our test sheets. If I get back to and open test sheet, I have here two rows here, okay? So that's why it was here the username, password, and the line separator has been printed out to console. Okay, now I need to make the here the datasheet and Excel file name can be read automatically without having to provide here the file name and sheet name. But in order to achieve this, I have to rename my test sheet to have the same name as the test class. So the test class has here demo test. I have to rename my Excel sheet as the same name. I'll give it the same name, and the sheet should have the same name as the test method, and here it has already test1 as sheet name. But instead here I will modify our data reader with minor details. I will give here a parameter of data type iTestNG method. Let's say method. This parameter can be injected automatically by testng engine while running and calling the test methods that depend on this data reader. So method will have information about the test methods and test classes, test parameters, and so on. And here, instead of this file name, I will remove this and I will add method here, method like this dot get method name. Sorry, here get real class. But as you can see, get real class will return a data type of class. I need a string here, so let's continue, and I will continue dot get simple name to only get the class name. The simple class name is login test. So here it will be get class name, and of course I will keep the extension as all Excel data files have the same extension XLSX. And instead of test1, I will provide here method dot get method name. So while running our test methods, the test files will be read automatically, and the test sheet will be assigned automatically to test methods corresponding to its names. So let's rerun our test once again to see its effect. I have forgot to close this file. So it failed as the file is test.ng. It raises a test.ng exception as the Excel file is open and in use by another program, which is Excel itself. So let's rerun our test once again to see the results. Oops. What's test 2? Do I have something? I think get symbol name LSX. What's the problem here? Data reader. So let's check this error. Test.ng exception demo test. I will rerun. It should pass. So the error is it cannot load a sheet name with the same name as this test method. So let's rename our sheet name here. I forgot to rename the sheet from sheet 1 to be, sorry, from test 1 to be test 2, like this, and I will save and close this Excel sheet. And now let's rerun our test method. Hopefully it will pass this time. Okay, and here we go. It has passed this time with the same data. As we can see, two iterations. We have here two iterations as we have two rows in our Excel sheet. This is how to use Excelizer instead of the Apache Boy, traditional Apache Boy implementing such long class. Thank you. Bye bye.